And if you're a weightlifter, there is no possible way you've never been asked this question: how much can you bench? Everyone wants to know, how much can you bench? I want to know, even Emily Blunt wants to know, how much can you bench, The Rock? And this is what he says. Coach Greg, and have you watched Emily Blunt's interview with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson by Wired? Well, if not, you missed something else. In particular, what I found interesting was his response to how much he could bench press and what the heck is wrong with his abs. So I'm gonna go over the video, tell you what I think, and explain to you exactly what's wrong with The Rock's abs and how much can he in fact bench press.
Are you still a good dishwasher?
I only, as a matter of fact, here's some nerdy shit, and weird. I need therapy.
And does The Rock actually need therapy? I mean, who knows? I think we could all benefit from therapy. Last I checked, The Rock is in fact human and he does have insecurities. He's a normal person just like everyone else who is in fact comparing his physique to other people he sees on social media.
You know, I don't use a dishwasher.
Ever?
Ever, no.
What about for a big load?
Get your mind out of the gutter. Big load. What are we talking about here?
I hand wash everything.
Everything.
And so we just discovered The Rock, he doesn't use a dishwasher. He needs to wash everything by hand. And even if it's a big load, he just takes his time and washes it all himself. I mean, I'm surprised he has the time to do this. I thought with The Rock doing movie after movie, Black Adam, training, getting up at 4 a.m, doing cardio, lifting weights later, all this stuff, I thought, how would he have time to do his own dishes? I don't even have time to do the dishes. How does The Rock manage to do this?
What can Dwayne Johnson bench? I do want to know this.
And if you're a weightlifter, there is no possible way you've never been asked this question: how much can you bench? Everyone wants to know, how much can you bench? I want to know, even Emily Blunt wants to know, how much can you bench, The Rock? And this is what he says.
What can you bench?
I don't count 400, 500 pounds, whatever.
Is that for real?
Whatever.
I don't count 400 or 500 pounds. And she says, is that for real? Whatever. AKA, no. Well, how much can The Rock bench? Well, it can't be 400 or 500 pounds. If he could bench 500 pounds, he would have to have done it or have an estimation or some form of a calculator. And I'm telling you, at nearly 50 years of age, and while dieting for Black Adam, he's not going to be as strong as he would be in the off season or when he was younger. So maybe he used to bench 400 or 500 pounds, but if he could actually do it, if he could bench 400 or 500, he would say 500. You don't say a range of 100 pounds. If someone said, Coach Greg, how much can you bench? I'm not going to say 300 or 400. The Rock trains almost every single day. Do you really think he wouldn't know how much he can bench press? So rather than give an accurate answer, he gives a range. And do we even know he can get 400 pounds? No, we don't. Somebody who's confident in their strength will just tell you, this is the amount. 365, 395, or I don't actually do 1 rep maxes because it's dangerous. I don't want to get hurt. So my best bench as of late, it's 315 for 10.
I don't count 400, 500 pounds, whatever.
Maybe he doesn't even bench press. Maybe he uses machines, but he literally says, I don't count. So what do, Rock? You just walk into the gym and put a bunch of plates on the bar, not knowing how much it actually weighs, lay down and press it, and then do it with your eyes closed and say, I don't want to know because I don't want to know if I'm strong or weak. That makes no sense. It's not possible that he doesn't actually know if he can press 500 pounds. So rather than saying 400 or 500 pounds, just say, based on the training I've done lately, probably 400 pounds, not 400 or 500. I mean, is he comparing himself to Larry Wheels and saying, well, Larry Wheels can do that in each arm, so I better say a big number? Why can't The Rock just say, it doesn't matter? If you don't want to answer the question, don't answer it, but don't make up a number and make it a high number because you think that the people think, well, if he says a low number, he's not really a tough guy now, is he?
It doesn't matter!
So rather than just making up a big number to impress people, just say, it doesn't matter. Or I don't know. Or I haven't tried the bench in years, I don't know. But don't lie and make up a big number, 400 or 500. You know what that means? It means 400, if that.
What is the deal with The Rock's flabby tummy? No. What is the deal with The Rock's abs?
So she reads it out, and rather than reading it out as it's stated, she says, flabby tummy. So you know in her head, she's thinking, yeah, there's something wrong with The Rock's abs. They don't look the way I want them to look. They're not as impressive as you'd expect. You know she's thinking that because she would not have said flabby tubby. She would have said, what's the deal with The Rock's abs? As it states. Instead of saying flabby tummy, she would have read, what is the deal with The Rock's abs? Not knowing what it means. But you know when she says flabby tummy, that's what she's thinking. She's thinking, The Rock, yeah, you got a lot of muscle, but I don't like your abs. And so how does The Rock respond to that?
What's wrong with
What's wrong with The Rock's abs?
That's so
What is fucked up? Who wrote that? What is wrong with them?
And you can tell he's pissed off by this question, but it's one of the most commonly asked questions on Google. So I can remember watching a video by Kenny KO about 4 or 5 years ago, something about The Rock, why he doesn't have abs. And in the video, I remember he said something about The Rock had torn his abs and his leg muscle in a wrestling match, something to that extent, and that's why he doesn't have abs. It's not really true. It might be partially true, a small part, but it's not true because he never had abs before that. Just look at his father. It's in his genetics. The abs and how they look, it's predominantly genetic. If you don't have great genetics, your abs are not going to look as impressive as someone else who does. But if you are lean enough, you will in fact see your abs. The Rock, he gets pretty lean, but not shredded. If The Rock truly dieted down to, say, 5% body fat, if he got as lean as someone like Zac Efron, who was clearly more shredded than The Rock during Baywatch, he would have much better abs. Also, The Rock doesn't really know how to flex them properly. Flexes the chest, the upper body, the arm, has a little bit of a vein there, nice little chest, little pop in the chest, but he doesn't stand flexing the abs correctly. He's never that lean. He's not fat. He's just not shredded. Even in dieting down for Black Adam, he's not what I would consider bodybuilding shredded. And so because he doesn't have amazing genetics and is not quite lean enough, his abs, they just don't look up to par with all the models on Instagram. And just because The Rock is a famous celebrity doesn't mean he's immune to comparing himself to other famous YouTubers. There's a video on YouTube, it's called Dwayne Johnson Has Ab Envy, and in it he compares himself to Zac Efron saying, you know how shredded a Zac's gonna be, and check him out, he has amazing abs, good looking, all that kind of stuff. So although he's bigger than Zac Efron, he doesn't have the abdominals that Zac has. Mostly because he's not as shredded, but also partially because of his genetics. And yes, the ab injury can in fact add to this, but that is not it. There's also other reasons that I want to add to because no one seems to talk about this. Age. He's almost 50 years old. And as you age, your abs don't look as good as when you're younger. So let's take Coach Greg, case in point, myself. When I was in my 20s, my abs were by far my strongest body part. They aren't anymore because I'm older. As you age, they just don't look as good. If you compare my abs in my 20s to my 40s, you will clearly see a noticeable difference. They're just not as good. How many 80, 90-year-old grandpas that are shredded do you see having amazing abs? Probably none. You don't see them. Why? Well, one reason is they're getting older and the abs just don't look as good when you age. And let's not forget the elephant in the room, steroids and growth hormone. When you abuse PEDs, it's going to have an impact on how your abdominals look. Phil Heath, for example. Look at him when he was an amateur versus him in his later years when winning the Mr. Olympia multiple times. Notice the abs don't look quite as good. And how many people does this affect? A lot. And so the next time you see The Rock with his shirt off, realize that it's because of multiple reasons that his abs don't look as good as the top models in the industry. But here's the main point. So what? It's one body part. No one is perfect. If you're chasing perfection, guess what? You're always going to be tired because you're going to be chasing for your entire life. And so when The Rock, who we speculate isn't even natural, is told, you have a flabby tummy, what chance does that give to the rest of the people? Most people will never look like The Rock. You pick The Rock's abs, his worst body part, that in fact is still better than most people. And do I think it bothers The Rock? Abso-freaking-lutely. The guy's training nearly 2 hours a day to look his best. He's close to 50 years old trying to look the best he's ever been, better than ever. He doesn't want to succumb to Father Time. So yeah, I think The Rock looks at himself in the mirror, compares himself to other people, doesn't really like his abs. And so when people say you have a flabby belly, flabby tummy, That offends him. He doesn't like it. Who wants to be criticized? Who wants to be put down? 99% of the comments about The Rock, they're going to be amazing, positive. But of course, there's going to be 1% out there that are going to be negative. And guess what we do as people? We listen to the negative and we forget about the positive, even though it should be the other way around.
I think because on Instagram, all these Instagram fitness models have these incredible 6, 8, 12, 24 pack stomachs.
Have a six-pack?
And so the problem is The Rock saying you're comparing me to all these Instagram models with 6, 8, 12, 24 packs. And I only have a 4.5 or a 5.5 pack. This is the best I can get. And so you're comparing me to all these freaks and it's not fair.
Problem was, which a lot of people don't know, I tore in a wrestling match.
And so what he's trying to do is blame it on his injuries, but if he was totally transparent and totally honest, he would say it's because my body fat isn't really low enough, I don't have the best genetics, I've injured myself, and I've been on PEDs. That's what he should be saying, but of course, do you really expect him to say that? So that's the answer, ending it here. Don't forget you can buy Harder Than Last Time supplements and a cookbook, help you get in amazing shape. Why not get those? And if you want to be part of the team to help promote these products, you will be paid to do that. Please join the Ambassador Program. And don't forget, you can hire me and my team to do coaching plans for you. And until next time, I'm out.